Next video, let's go to page 98. Millennium, New World, Coming World Order, written in 88, 89. The time, chapter 4, page 98. Communications for the modern nomad are becoming simpler and more convenient. Messages can be received from the telephone, answering machine, which can even be consulted from far away. Thanks to the portable telephone, the nomad can continue to conduct his personal and public life with others no matter where he happens to be, whether driving, strolling, flying. No more excuses, no more sanctuaries. There is nowhere left to hide. There is, of course, a great irony in this development. Ostensibly liberating people from their ties to place, such nomadic objects make it harder than ever to escape from the world of work. It was once thought that a post-scarcity, hyper-industrial world would enable people to reduce the time they spent working and increase their leisure activity, but just the opposite has occurred. Nomadic man will labor ceaselessly, because the natural divisions of day and night and of time itself will have been banished. The fax machine reduces the time it takes to communicate images, drawings, manuscripts, letters, and missives of all kinds to the time of a telephone call. For the first time in history, man will not have an address. The sense of place that gave birth to all previous cultures will become little more than a vague regret. Design. The nomadic objects that have invaded our lives from a galaxy of goods, at first glance disordered, disconnected, incoherent. Alright. They have invaded. And I can let go of them. In reality, however, they are united by a single governing principle. They are designed to manipulate information, images, forms, sounds, at great speed, transforming services performed by people for other people into objects, at once portable and usable, produced by industrial processes. So instead of some musician coming and playing for you, you buy a CD. And the fat pigs get richer. Well, we lose our jobs. So for example, the preparation and provision of food is an area in which time-dependent services already have become mass-produced objects. Freezing, microwave ovens. Now, instead of cooking, one can buy a prepackaged, mass-prepared meal to be consumed either at home or at work. That can be ready to eat in minutes, even seconds. One eats whenever one wants to, wherever one is. Car, plane, train, boat, home. One now eats while moving, so as not to lose time. Dishes that are quick to prepare, ready to cook and serve are in great demand. So in the old times, you were supposed to be very calm and relaxed while eating, pleasant socializing. So in just a few years, nomadic objects have proliferated. Well, they're living now. They live. Have proliferated, changing the daily lives of both those who can afford them and those who dream of possessing them. Wow, both rich and poor's lives have been changed by possessing or dreaming of possessing. Their existence, however, has scarcely affected the economic travail of the eighth market form, for such objects have yet to significantly affect the two most critical sectors of the economy, education and health. That's not true. Tech has made big inroads into education already, and health, it's currently in the process of doing. Because it's not doctors who are spreading all these bogus hype about a out of control virus, supposedly. Never, which is not biochemically valid. All the suggestions and all the statements coming out from the the big boys. Nevertheless, by priming the consumer to use them and industry to produce them, nomadic objects in the food and communication sectors have paved the way for similar objects elsewhere. Wow. So the virus has spread everywhere. And even the crown, or corona. But can such objects be invented? Will they? So shit has hit the fan, supposedly, right? That's what coronavirus supposedly means. And it's pretty obvious. People are nuts. Will they really be able to replace the services performed by the doctor and the teacher? The answer would appear to be no. It seems impossible the man could be excluded from the act of healing or from teaching others. So we can still visit our doctors virtually. And teachers, I don't know. I'm not a kid, so I don't have any kids. But the process has already begun. The logic of the market pushes forward and the cultural ground is now being prepared. Alright, so the market is the one moving everything, not with the wind and the sky and so forth, but the market, the invisible God. The cultural ground was being prepared in the 90s, right? Individuals everywhere in the privileged regions of the world are enrolling in the cult of the healthy and of the well-informed. Standards of beauty, once so varied and different from society to society. Yeah, my social science teacher in 9th grade told us how in India, armpits are good because that releases a pheromones which both sexes enjoy. And then in Africa or in Egypt, fat women are sexy because, people like big curves in Egypt. And in America is the anorexic. It was the anorexic coke whore of the 90s that was sexy. But anyway, let's move on to the next sentence. Standards of beauty from society to society are now increasingly blended into a single homogenized ideal, like Kim Kardashian, and remain so an individual will want to protect his health, prolong his life or her life, and remain attractive by staying in physical shape through exercise and weight control. Not just for females, but for men too. All the soy boys are at the gym or mad because they can't go to the gym. The market of those seeking to be in shape and informed is large and lucrative. Okay, right? LA Fitness charges like 50 a month or something. The worldwide success of Jane Fonda's exercise regimen and Robert Fulghum's homilies testify to the broad appeal of these ideals. Um, and yeah, the constant injunctions to eat properly, stop smoking, cut fat intake, and so on are heard everywhere. And these also are not very biochemically sound. Well, you can prove anything with biochemically and biochemics and molecular biology because it's so far removed from daily reality that tricks can be pulled. But eating properly differs from person to person. Smoking is good for some, bad for others, and so forth. So fat is good for me, but maybe bad for you, but unfortunately, these injunctors are pushing these one-size-fits-all injunctions, which is the nature of science. But citizens of the fast world, if they are to partake of its offerings, must work hard to win and maintain the right to their autonomy. Okay. I think I ate some herbs without washing them, and now I have a virus in my throat. Citizens of the fast world, if they are to partake of the offerings, must work hard to win and maintain the right to their autonomy. So the fast world, where you can't think. And then I'm crazy because I say certain things, or just funny. But anyway, if they are to partake of its offerings, must work hard to win and maintain the right to their autonomy. How true is that today? To live to a ripe old age, to find work more easily. To live to a ripe old age, to find work more easily. Work more easily, okay. The citizen consumer might monitor his health and mind his education. So that's the lifelong education they talk about. Citizen consumer. Monitor his health. So you're responsible for your health and your education. You're a self-maintained slave. Advancing a career depends upon obtaining and maintaining a certain level of education. There is no future in unskilled labor. That's why they're killing Amazonians or damaging their bodies. Machines are the new proletariat. Yep. They prefer machines over their slaves. The working class is being given its walking papers. Damn. Nomadic man is taught that if he is to find work more easily, he must not count too much on society to keep him in shape. Damn. He must not. Yeah, that's what it is. People can't depend on society now. And the coronavirus has shown us we gotta keep in shape through yoga at home and weights, jogging and so forth. He must regard himself as his own sculptor. Hence the proliferation of health clubs, self-help books, and university extension courses. I wonder if there's still farmers markets, because I'm getting sick of being starved here. The cultural ideal that these aspirations embody is that of the movie star or model. What began in the arenas of popular music and fashion, the hit parade and trendy clothes, is now a social phenomenon. That's a big ass section. So yeah, the movie stars, we follow the stars in the darkness. So the movie star is the cultural ideal. That's why divorce rate is 75% in California, they say. What began in the arenas of popular music and fashion, the hit parade and trendy clothes, is now a social phenomenon that has gone global, refusing to respect class, ethnic, or national boundaries. So it's not accidental, but he's acting like it might be, I don't know. Slowly and surely and seductively, the definition of the desirable has merged with that of the acceptable. Right? What you want is now okay, instead of what you want is now what you need, so it's not okay. Together, they form a powerful and dangerous consensus, driving out what is deemed abnormal and ugly. So the tyranny of the conformists in 2020. Powerful and dangerous consensus. These ideas and also the people who follow them, which is the masses, driving out what is deemed abnormal and ugly. The scapegoat is no longer simply he who has no money. Oh no, it's much more Babylon shitstem, complicated. But he who is not in good shape, the fat, the deformed, the smoker, the lazy, the sick, the ignorant. And that is ever expansive in this PC world, PC baby world. Alright, so the scapegoat has expanded from just the poor to all these categories. Page 102 now. Let's have a break, or no, not yet. After this paragraph. It is in response to the demand for uniformity of appearance that the critical nomadic technologies in health and education will emerge. So, for doctors and teachers have the social function of certifying that each person, wow, this should be enlightening to me. Doctors and teachers have the social function of certifying that each person meets the standards society implicitly imposes on its members. So they're the watchdogs, so to speak. The gatekeepers. Or the gate monitors, hall monitors of the shitstem. For the shitty standards of the shitty. Whichever shitty you live in. Implicitly imposes on its members, okay? Such objects designed to monitor appearance and measure health already exist. I have a health app on this phone. Some are used privately and are of distant origin, such as the mirror to judge one's beauty, the scale to watch one's weight, and the thermometer to take one's temperatures. Examples of nomadic objects of more recent vintage include self-tests for alcohol levels, fat content, urine tests, and pregnancy. Others must still be used by trained professionals, electrocardiographs and arterial pressure monitors, for example. But technology is fast robbing the health professional of a reason to exist. Okay. Objects of self-diagnosis will become increasingly sophisticated, using microprocessors to measure a parameter, comparing it against the normal value, and announcing the result of the test. For some time to come, only doctors will be permitted to use these new objects, but they will be miniaturized, simplified, and manufactured at a very low cost and made available to all consumers, despite the strong opposition of the medical profession with whom they will compete, right? So the doctors don't like big tech taking over, and there's good reason why. And me as a researcher, I don't like it either, because it's retarded. It's really stupid what they're pushing, you know, the religion of believing all their lies, which are unscientific. Well, they're scientific, but when you overall analyze the big picture, it's totally ridiculous what they're pushing. But it's just insider codes like Alex Jones talks about, and so forth. So they will be made to all consumers despite the strong opposition. And one day everyone will wear a wrist instrument that will continuously record the beat of the heart, arterial pressure, and cholesterol level. Okay. So everyone will wear the wrist mark of the beast to monitor all these things, right? Your life itself, your bestial body. Even cancer treatment and surgery may be self-administered, and blah blah blah. An example of this from Japan. I guess Japan was leading the charge with the big tech push back in the day. And then now China is just replicating all the technologies mass-produced. The desire to achieve mastery over oneself, to equip oneself with early warning systems able to detect the onslaught of disease or physical deterioration, the increasing familiarity with display screens and computer-generated images, the growing distrust of the medical establishment, combined with the faith in the technological superiority of nomadic objects, will open enormous markets for these devices. And I think at page 103 I'll come back.